So there's some fairly obvious implications to the toy pentavalent logic that we came up with looking at modus tollens seriously, right? Where you have five logical values, truth values, right? You have a strong true, a weak true, a, I don't know, a weak false, and a false. Okay? One of the consequences to this is that proof by contradiction is bullshit. Okay? So now this doesn't necessarily mean that no proofs by contradiction are actually giving you the correct answer. Because clearly, if it's not true, it could be false. Right? That is absolutely a possibility. So there's going to be, within the body of mathematics and whatnot, there are going to be proofs by contradiction that are correct, but they're invalid. Because at least this many logical values are necessary to actually handle shit correctly. At least. It's more than that. But at least that many are required. Right? Just by looking at modus tollens. Just by handling modus tollens correctly. Like, God fucking damn it. Okay. So, what's an example of this? So I don't actually have a preconceived one, so I'm going to make it up off the top of my head, and as usual, it might go to shit. Just right before your eyes. Okay, so, okay, so I got a nice one. So say, like, say, like, there's this dude, and he's bringing his girlfriend over to his parents' house for dinner or some shit, right? That classic stereotypical kitschy bullshit. Okay. And the parents are like, well, is she blonde or brunette? Or, you know. And he's like, she's black. Right. So we could go about this, right? Is she blonde? No. Oh, she must be brunette then. Well, it's not really. Black hair isn't really brunette. Or maybe she's a ginger. Right? Is she blonde? No. Oh, she must be brunette. Well, she's a ginger. So, no. Right? Like, that's how easy it is to demonstrate that proof by contradiction is bullshit. Right? You have to formulate the thing correctly in the first motherfucking place. And given the prevalence of proofs by contradiction as establishing, like, the framework of mathematics at this point, it's really hard to actually validly do this. Right? You think you're on good footing, but if you go back through the history of it, like, are all of the things that you're working from actually valid? Or, well then, if they're based on proof by contradiction, they're not valid. But are they true? Because they can be, as noted, they can be true. They can be, like, correct. It's fucking hard to talk about logic because it stole all of the words. Right? Something that's logically true doesn't necessarily really happen. Okay? Something that is logically valid, like in one logic, does not necessarily operate in the real world, right? So when I'm saying invalid here, what I mean is, like, it's not in a more realistic logic, closer to how the world really fucking works. It's not going to work. It's going to be invalid, right? So, like, a proof by contradiction in a more realistic logic will be invalid, because that's simply not how it works. Like, it's not just a binary yes or no. There are shades. There are alternatives that are actually, like, on a perpendicular dimension that are still truth values. So, yeah, god damn it. It's not that simple. Proof by contradiction ultimately isn't valid in the first place, right? Within a bivalent logic, it is, but bivalent logics don't work. It's like really fucking hard to talk about this because, god damn it. So yeah, you can validly prove in a bivalent logic system via proof by contradiction, but that's not actually valid in real life. That's invalid when we are actually thinking about things correctly, or more correctly. Not even correctly, just more correctly. Even if you only included the, well, why do questions exist in the first place? If true and false are your only possible logic values, how could you ever possibly ask a question? How could you ever do that? Right? Asking a question means that not only do you have a third option, but you recognize it and you have a method for dealing with it. The fact that you can ask questions means you don't operate in a bivalent logic. Automatically. The fact that you can say things like probably means you don't work even in a trivalent logic, right? Because you can have yes, no, maybe, probably, probably not. There you go. There's a 5-valued logic system, right? God damn it. It's not that hard. Like, every natural language has this built into it. It is actually how you work. It is how you reason. It is how human beings operate. And yet somehow we've abstracted away from this and our little toy abstraction, because that's what it is. It's an abstraction of how reasoning and logic and thought and whatever works. That little toy is what you put all your faith in? What? To the point that you're like, oh, yes, we can absolutely prove for sure that this is real, right? Proof by contradiction is bullshit. Because, well, if it's not true, what could it be? It could be at least any of these. It could be, well, probably. It could be, I don't know. It could be, probably not. Or, nope. At the very least, you have that range. And I'm actually not even, yeah. Yeah, I'm not even promoting something like Lukashevich or some other kinds of logics, like mini-valued logics. I'm not promoting that here. I'm just, yeah, I'm just saying. God damn. Such fun.